What? I know that's what you're saying. Well, you know how sometimes you're on the phone and you're just talking on your cell phone, da 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 da, and then 1 minute later you realize there's nobody else on the other line. When did they fall off the line? And then you got to restate the whole amazing story you just did. That's what happened in this lecture. Software I use only lets me do 15 minutes, and the lecture looked like it was 16 minutes. So sucks for me. I get to redo it. Great for you. You get to hear me even more. So we're going to start or pick it up from this part in the animation. Once again, we have the muscle poop right there called troponin, and here's calcium entering. And I'll start the animation going. Maybe I will. Hello? Okay. Calcium's going to bind to the troponin, and it's going to cause the tropomyosin to move and uncover the actin here, the myosin binding site on the actin. And now we're going to see the myosin head, and here we have ADPN phosphate. So remember that I said that the myosin head has ATPase activity. ATP was broken down, released energy. The myosin head binds to that region, and then the head is going to return back to its resting. It's going to use that energy that it just received from breaking down ATP. And then here's one little known fact that's not shown in most animations or even in books. It's not explained very well, so I love it that this animation does it. You notice that the myosin head here requires ATP to bind to the actin site. Not to bind, I'm sorry. Requires ATP to release. So without ATP, that myosin head is going to stay bound to the actin binding site, and it's not going to let go. And this is actually the basis for cramping. Only when energy is provided from ATP. So now ATP binds, it's going to cause a shift and return back to the energy poor state. The breakdown of ATP is now going to occur again, and energy releases again, and thus the head now extends to its high energy state. Bind to actin binding site, you probably can't see my fist, bind to the actin binding site, and then return to its low state. And so here you see all the myosin heads binding to actin, and they're going to go one after the other. The actin and myosin themselves don't change size, they just slide across one another. So the H zone that's shown in here shrinks or decreases. You see the Z disc to Z disc or Z line to Z line gets shorter as the actin gets pulled in across the myosin. And then once again here you see the same thing. This process is going to keep going as long as calcium is around and ATP is around. And so you see this continuing over and over and over until, of course, you want to relax the muscle. And then when you want to relax the muscle, you use ATP, unbind the myosin head, and then you take the calcium that's hanging out in the area on the troponin, and you pump that back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum and get rid of it. Now the muscle's going to relax, and you're in a happy state once again. And I'm out.